we thought the high point of the season was probably going to be LeBron passing Kareem. And don't forget, they lost that game to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They couldn't even get a W. And now here they are in the Western Conference Finals. Like, I'm still shocked a little bit. I'm still blown away that all of this has come together for them. And this is just more LeBron resume fuel for people like me when we do the LeBron Jordan debate, which we don't have to do right now. But this is just more fuel. Like, think about what he's doing at 38. He was excellent on Friday night. He's 38 years old. Year 20, we're in like uncharted territory for someone who plays like he does.
You know, the only thing I would disagree, it feels like it's been a gradual building thing. It felt in February like the Red Sea all of a sudden parted and the Western Conference went up for grabs. A bunch of things.
That's not what people were saying the day that the Durant trade was made. Then it was like, look at now, there's more firepower and star power here in the Western Conference.
They did. Well, no. See, I not long after the Lakers trade deadline, I think they got good reviews at the trade deadline. And then those good reviews, when people saw them play like 3 games, like, woo, all of a sudden, this became great reviews.
Yeah.
But here's what happened, though. You had Ja ran into trouble in Memphis.
And just got in some more trouble over the weekend. We'll get to that.
The Nuggets faded a little bit towards the end.
Yes, but that was also a bit of a calculation. It was like Jokic isn't going to win the third straight MVP. He basically stopped playing defense.
Okay, Sacramento was too young, so no one took them. Phoenix, yes, they were a little scary. And then the Clippers started having injury problems.
But the Warriors were always lurking.
But no, the Warriors were not impressive this year.
They were not.
So that was the other thing. Like, that's why all of a sudden it felt like, whoa, this is anybody. And a lot of people said, even more so than me, like, wow, if LeBron can get into this playoff field, because it wasn't actually that easy for him to even get in. If he could get into this playoff field, there is no dominant team right now. Now, the dominant team was arguably the Nuggets. Nuggets won 53 games this year. They were not dominant. And the Warriors were not the Warriors.
But there was
were they the Warriors?
But there was always like they could flip a switch. We've seen them do it before. They had this atrocious home road splits, but like this isn't really who they are. We made tons of excuses for the Warriors. And listen, the Warriors, we'll get to them because they're at a crossroads coming up now that they've just lost. But the Lakers needed overtime in the play-in game just to get in the playoffs, and now they're in the Western Conference Finals. Can we just marvel for a moment? And I know they have arguably the greatest player of all time, and they have Anthony Davis, but even the fact that Davis has stayed relatively healthy, knock on wood, I mean, and you mentioned the trades, it's partly the guys from the trades. Like D'Angelo Russell plays obviously some big minutes for them, and Rui Hachimura has become Perloff's favorite player.
He's had a crazy bunch of games. Not lately, but he was great in the first series.
But it's like Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker, Schroeder. Like these are just some sick role players. In this round, it wasn't even really the trade guys who were the difference. It was like dudes who were already in the program.
No, you're absolutely right. But you can't say what a team that comes in, they were about 4th in title odds entering the postseason. I mean, people were on to them and I think that's because of LeBron. And getting into LeBron's legacy, I do think it's almost, I'm taking for granted how amazing LeBron is. Like
Jordan didn't make the playoffs at 38.
Of course not. He was retired.
He was with the Wizards.
No, that doesn't count.
See,
he left his last game. I saw his last game. It was Bulls versus Utah.
It was a shot over Russell. No. He came back. It happened at 38. He wasn't bad. It's just he couldn't make the playoffs.
That does not count for anything. He was not. His last game was against Utah Jazz, and it was glorious. And I don't even want to hear. If you're going to do a LeBron MJ debate and you bring up the Wizards, I'm out automatically.
I got to bring up the Wizards.
Why? Just because that's like he played in. It's like saying that Yogi Berra and Mickey Mantle were not great Yankees because they struck out in a Legends game 20 games after they retired.
No.
It means nothing. It has nothing to do with Michael Jordan's legacy.
Not true, because we get the 38 to 38. We get the apples to apples.
No.
And
Did you see The Last Dance? Was there any Wizards in there?
Yeah, the one that Michael Jordan produced. No, here's the thing. Even Michael had time off. He had time off during the run of the dynasty, which we all know, of course. And then he had time off after the second retirement before he went back with the Wizards and then retired for a third time. He had all this time off. LeBron's been playing straight through.
Yeah, but, first of all,
finals
hasn't LeBron had 2 seasons where he's played part-time kind of?
Well, he got hurt.
Yeah, sort of. The groin injury, I don't know how hurt he was.
Okay, but that's not going to play baseball.
Okay.
Totally different. Or going to own a team and then deciding to come back and play for said team, which he did in Washington.
So why can't we, here's the thing, why can't we just enjoy LeBron for doing something unprecedented for a 38-year-old? Why do we have to bring it into the LeBron Jordan debate?
Because it's people who are so will not even entertain the idea that LeBron could be remembered as the greater player than Jordan. This is why these moments have to be brought up in context, like with the other person. Because there are some people, it's like politics in this country, but it's like some people you just cannot change their mind no matter what. And I'm giving you some more evidence here because LeBron isn't done playing.
Well, right, but the peak LeBron is past and the peak Jordan is past, so we can compare those two.
Yeah, but LeBron, it's not like he's, you know, the eighth guy off the bench right now.
No, he's great.
It might not be the peak, but he's still, if they win this title, it's not, no one's going to say that LeBron wasn't instrumental in it. He's the second best player on the team.
He'll be the second best player on the team. Can you imagine Michael Jordan being the second best player on a team? That's unthinkable.
No, but I also, if maybe Michael, if he could have been the second best player on a team and they put the team together better, maybe he would have had a 38-year-old season closer to LeBron, but he couldn't.
Thank God he didn't, because that would have watered down. To have Michael Jordan be the second best player on a championship team would have taken away from his legacy.
Here's the thing, though, also, it's like, it's weird to say LeBron's the second best player because this Lakers team, it's kind of like spread out. You know, everyone's playing their role so well. I still think he's the most important player they have.
Well, okay, he's scoring 23 points a game in this postseason. I think there is this narrative that Anthony Davis has to be the best player for them to win. I think there's some truth to that.
Okay, but Davis didn't have a big offensive game in the second half of Game 6, and they still closed him out.
But they were going against an undermanned Golden State team. Now they have to face some height. It's a completely different series.
It will.
You have to admit, I mean, what was Golden State do? Where was Golden State's big guys? What kind
They don't have any.
How could they have done this? I felt like Bob Myers, who might be leaving now, the GM, I feel like he deserves a lot of heat because they came in without any firepower.
Well, it's interesting. Is it the general manager? Sure, I can see that. But also, they had 3 lottery picks.
Yep.
One's not on the team anymore, and Wiseman.
Yep.
And Kuminga and Moody were not really playable in this series.
Moody actually showed a little bit, but
that's development. And I know Steve Kerr's an all-time coach, but, like, isn't that development and chemistry and making sure you find roles for guys?
I think what happened, same thing happened to my Sixers during the process. They just happened to be in these terrible, terrible drafts. I mean, the draft has been a real crapshoot lately. Notice you see all these undrafted players on all these teams right now. The draft is completely unreliable. I don't know why, but James Wiseman, there was nobody drafted behind. Let me just read the guys who were drafted behind him. He was second overall pick. Anthony Edwards was 1, great, T. Wills. Then James Wiseman. 3 was LaMelo Ball. They couldn't have him. How could they fit him into that team?
No, they won.
Then it was Patrick Williams on the Bulls, was a 4 pick. Remember that shooting guard? Isaac Okoro, who's barely playable. Then basically nobody who's really doing anything. Tyrese Halliburton, who's another point guard.
Well, Halliburton's good.
Yeah, but then again, the Warriors, they need size. They have plenty of point guard play. So my point is they just kind of ran into a tough one. They need to get bigger. Watch this offseason, by the way, Maggie. I guarantee that whoever's running the Warriors will get so much size and be looking at this Lakers series and say, if we just had enough big guys, we could have done something.